Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am very sorry. I am about to show you some numbers that will blow your mind, so please refrain from doing anything else for a moment longer. The majority of people are still unaware of the fact that the greatest significant change in wealth in the history of humanity is going to take place. There are likely to be significant shifts in the manner in which money is moved, stored, and sold, particularly with regard to payments that are made across international borders. The same thing would be said if you said that Amazon only sold books. The internet that is valuable is not the internet that is harmful. Once you have a better understanding of what it entails, you will never again look at money in the same way. It is not my intention to instruct you on how to spend your money. Let's get started. As soon as you hear the facts, rather than just speculations, you will comprehend the reason why those individuals who truly comprehend this at this moment will be the future kings and queens of business. Examine the list of XRP's rich assets. Examine the wallets that are available. Even among the 8 billion individuals on the planet, only a small percentage of them have XRP. The majority of those wallets are nothing more than dust. Any leftovers or remnants from previous exchanges. Every wallet contains less than 20 XRP, which is equivalent to less than 20 USD at the present. There are millions of wallets with this ratio. The next category, which contains up to 500 XRP, only has a few $100s on average, and even that group only a few hundred. Are you able to see where this is ending up? The majority of people are not even close to having enough money to make significant changes in their life. It is undeniable based on the numbers. Because of this, this is an extremely uncommon occurrence. If you have a significant role, you are not only early into the game, you are a member of an exclusive club that cannot be replicated by mathematical methods in the future. When the XRP price goes up, not everyone will be able to enter the market. In mathematics, things don't work out that way. What an insane idea. It would be insane for them to pass up the opportunity to make use of the free money while it is still available. Now let's take another look at the figures. The reason that this is the most uncommon family wealth configuration in the history of the world will become clear to you once you see how they actually break down. There are more than 5.6 million wallets in those lower tiers, yet the amount of money the wallets in the top brackets have is not even close to being comparable to what those wallets have. Where the true shift in perspective takes place is at this point. Those who carry money are not humans. An individual is able to own more than one pocket. One possible scenario is if a person owns 50,000 XRP and decides to split it across 5 different banks, with each bank being tallied separately. When you take a look at the map, you will notice that a significantly smaller number of people actually possess considerable quantities of XRP than what is shown in the statistics. People who claim that they won't let any of us to become wealthy are therefore utterly missing the point. As the math demonstrates, there are some individuals who will not. Despite the fact that there are a great number of people in the globe, only a very small percentage of them have employment that pay more than a few $100s. Once utility is completely operational, when Ripple's liquidity lanes are operating at full capacity, and when institutions turn on the switch, there will be a significant increase in demand for it in comparison to what is currently available. At that point, the price will immediately begin to rise. The following are some numbers taken from the actual world to assist you in comprehending what this means. Keeping merely 500 XRP in one's possession costs around $1,400 at the present price. And that's it. The price of a typical laptop is exactly that amount. Depending on how much that career is worth in the future, it has the potential to earn you the kind of money that the majority of people can only imagine having in their lives. When it comes to the upcoming banking system, the quantities of 10,000, 25,000, or 50,000 XRP are the ones that will truly cause people to wail. It was not because they were permitted to do so, but rather because they were knowledgeable that they set up when no one was looking. First, let's discuss what it means to have 100 XRP. Because of the numbers, it is not only impossible for it to occur, but it is also impossible for it to not occur at all. With the need for global liquidity, the requirement to settle trillions of dollars in real time, and the fact that central banks, financial institutions, and multinational corporations are all adopting Ripple's ODL, it is evident that the math is in agreement with this assertion. You haven't seen anything yet if you believe that $100 is too much. When Bitcoin was worth $1, $10, or $100, do you recall how amusing it was? Check out the current state of it. There is more to history than rhymes. Over and over again, it tries to convey the same message. The fact that Ripple has been able to cultivate relationships over the course of the past 10 years is evidence that the future is already being planned. MasterCard, Bank of America, Santander, or SBI are all acceptable payment methods. As a means of evaluating digital currencies, central banks are utilizing Ripple. There is truth to these tales. It is possible to provide evidence for these claims. Today is the day that the foundation for the future financial infrastructure is being laid, and XRP is at the core of the project that is being developed. Take a look at this alternative viewpoint, which will completely blow your head. If you had invested $5,000 back when the value of one Bitcoin was 95 cents, you would have received approximately 5,263 Bitcoin after the transaction. Let's take a look into the future. If you were to sell each of those for $125,000, you would have made almost $657 million, which is equivalent to $500 million from $5,000. Something like that happens when you get up early and take action to address the situation. In addition, this is precisely how things are currently standing with XRP. On the other hand, the use case is more extensive this time. It is a more extensive market. The problems that need to be rectified are more significant. In this context, we are discussing the basic essence of monetary value. You should also keep in mind that people laughed back then. They said that the internet was nothing more than a passing fad. Email, in their opinion, was meaningless. They stated that there would never be a day when someone would use a credit card to make a purchase online. Each and every time, the skeptics make the same sound. On the other hand, enterprises such as Amazon, Google, and other corporations worth $1 trillion were founded by individuals who believed in their beliefs at an early stage and acted on them. It is the same with XRP at this point. Haters are heard yelling. It was the news that started the fear. On the other hand, the builders continue their work, the relationships continue to develop, and the system continues to move in the direction of what will occur anyway. The vast majority of people are being distracted by a great deal of noise, but those who are paying attentively can make out the signal extremely clearly. With regard to XRP, it is not about hype. It has something to do with how it is used. Problems that cost $1 trillion to repair are the focus of this endeavor. Within a global economy in which trillions of dollars are transferred across borders on a daily basis, this pertains to ensuring that there is a rapid settlement process. It is not a niche market. That is what keeps the global financial system together. You have arrived at this location early enough to get a comfortable place before the majority of people wake up. Take a moment to think about that further. Earth is home to a large number of individuals. There are a lot of banks that accept XRP. However, only a small percentage of such wallets really contain actual cash. When you take into consideration duplicates and people who split holdings, the number of people who are actually set up for generational wealth is so minimal that it hardly even shows up. This is because duplicates and people splitting holdings are just two examples. And it is the reality. Because of this, this opportunity is unlike any other that you will ever have the chance to experience, mainly due to the fact that once the switch is pulled and adoption is obvious, it will be impossible to reverse the decision. At that point in time, the train had already departed from the station. Those who did not believe will be forced to take a seat on the bench and watch those who believed early on enjoy financial success. Lastly, let's concentrate on something that the majority of people overlook. This is the true need for cash. There is more to Ripple than just the creation of a fancy new payment app. It was their idea to devise a method that would allow companies to transmit money across international borders immediately, without having to wait for days or pay exorbitant costs. Think about how much money is transferred from one bank to another, from one state to another, and from one company to another every single day. The amount is enormous. When compared to other markets, this one is enormous. On the other hand, Ripple's on-demand liquidity, also known as ODL, is intended to link directly to that flow. This is not a theory at all. This is the actual launch. Existence of corridors that employ XRP as the bridge asset to conduct live trades has already been observed in the regions of Asia, Europe, and Latin America. What this indicates is that value is shifting in the real world at this very moment. And with each new growth, the fire gets ever worse. That is not the question. It has already begun to take place. The size is the only item that appears to be a mystery. There is a significant increase in the demand for XRP whenever the scale is increased. The consequences of a situation in which demand skyrockets but supply remains unchanged are already familiar to you. Additionally, it is important to keep in mind that XRP is not merely a coin that is available for use. This is the only digital asset that has been tested and demonstrated to be capable of handling fast settlements for huge sums of money at the same speed as the system that is already in place. There is a final payment made in 3 to 5 seconds, and very little money is spent. That is not the case with SWIFT, which is plagued by days of delays, fees on top of fees, and accounting issues that cost financial institutions billions of dollars annually. When the bullet train arrives, do you seriously believe that people would continue to use the horse and buggy method of transportation? In no way. This is the reason why the what if XRP is used instead of the SWIFT protocol. If you want to hold a conversation right now, it is not even impossible. The natural progression is described here. SWIFT was developed for a period of time and location that no longer exists any longer. Ripple is designed to function in the years to come. There will be no boundaries in the digital future, and settling will be swift. When you own XRP at this moment, you are the owner of a piece of that future before the majority of people on the earth are aware of it. Let us take a minute to return to the rich list, as this is the section that clarifies all that has been discussed. Check out the brackets at the top of the page, a total of 10 million, 25,000, or 100,000 XRP. There are only a few individuals associated with each of the groupings. Considering how small it is rather amusing, and those are the individuals who will prosper for many generations to come. There are some of them. No, it is not 1 billion. It's a very minimal portion of the population. However, not for the reason that they believe. Because of this, many are yelling that not everyone will become wealthy as a result of XRP. Just by looking at the math, it is obvious. Don't even bother to consider the institutional aspect of the situation. As soon as the regulations are made known, the supply will not be able to keep up with the demand that is about to pour in. Because of this, I am certain that 100 XRP is not a dream. As the point of departure, it is. Do you have any more numbers? There is no doubt about that. Simply because individuals who are in need of cash do not stop at $100 each coin. It's not about theory, it's about how you employ it. Price increases are required in order to support increased liquidity, which is why they are vital at all times. It's important to keep in mind that Ripple didn't get here overnight. The development of this has been accomplished in stages over the period of 10 years through the utilization of various strategies, including partnerships, pilots, testing, legal battles, and regulatory discussions. XRP will serve as the driving force behind the new banking system. Following that, there will be no more discussion on whether or not XRP is capable of reaching particular levels. Regarding the significance of it, it is going to be discussed. Permit me to provide you with one more illustration. At this early stage in the history of the internet, you are one of the few individuals who does not consider Amazon to be a book company, but rather the foundation upon which all online buying is conducted around the world. Credit cards that can be used online are ridiculed by everyone else, who asserts that relatively few people will actually use them. While the rest of the people are sleeping, you are loading up on products that cost you very little money. When we fast forward 20 years, we see that Amazon is more than just successful. It is a corporation that spans $1 trillion. The current position of those who own XRP is as described above. Refrain from investing money in a dream. There is a machine that is now being constructed, and you are following the designs for it. People tend to forget this as well. When someone adopts, there is not usually a lot of noise. In the same way that email and online commerce do, it develops gradually. From the beginning, people poked fun of it. Therefore, they were unable to escape it. Following then, it became the standard. Ripple is located precisely in that curve. In the beginning, the world will put up a struggle, but in the end, it won't even give itself a second thought. Because it is effective, they will use it. At this point, the final piece of this puzzle is an easy one to comprehend. Getting things ready. Those who take action without waiting for evidence have historically performed better than those who do so. By the time it is obvious, the price has already been reduced by a significant amount. By the time financial institutions begin to discuss XRP lanes in public, the gains of 10 times, 20 times, and 100 times have already disappeared. It is important to determine whether or not you are in front of that. Or are you going to take a passive stance and observe, similar to those individuals who were uninterested in Bitcoin when it was worth $1? After this switch has been activated, there is no going back. You either moved rapidly or you did not move at all. People who look back and say, "I wish I had listened," are not the same as those who develop wealth that will be passed down from generation to generation by their descendants. Assuming that you are listening to this, you are already familiar with more than 99.9% of the world. Simply put, that is a significant advantage. At this very moment, there are two things that you need to have a look at before we come to an end. Now, let's begin with the comprehensive approach to becoming a wealthy investor. Keep an eye out for 100x stocks. This is the way to locate opportunities that only present themselves once before they are taken by anyone else. Videos, photographs, written records, and blueprints.